Hello, welcome to CapTech. In this edition, we're going to talk about how to use the GTN650 and the GTN625 to create a user waypoint. To demonstrate this, I'm using the free software that you can download from Garmin to your iPad to simulate it. This is a great tool if you want to practice at home before you get into the airplane. As you know, in recent years, the Civil Air Patrol has purchased a great deal of GTN650s and GTN625s and put them in their aircraft for use during mission operations. It's really a great tool, but learning them at first can be a little difficult. The big difference between the two is in the upper right hand corner is the COM page. The GTN650 has a radio built into it, where the GTN625 doesn't. Other than that, the rest of the features are generally the same. One of the biggest tools we can use in Civil Air Patrol is the user waypoint function. It's a great way to put in a target or something we want to come back to later if we happen to locate something while we're out flying around and we want to save the coordinates. To get there, we start by hitting continue and continue again to get through the startup pages. From the home page, select down, waypoint info, and from here we're going to create a waypoint. From here we get to the waypoint creation page, and the first thing we do is to create the user identifier. This is what we want the identifier to be for the point. This is what you will type into the flight plan or into the GPS to get it to fly you to the point. It'll also display on the map page as well the identifier name. I don't recommend making anything very long. It can be kind of difficult when you're flying around to type in long names, especially if it's bumpy out. So what I do, my technique, is to put an A in for my first flight of the day, and for the first waypoint in my first flight of the day would be A1. For the second waypoint of my first flight of the day would be A2, A3, and so on. The next flight of the day would be B, or Bravo, and then Bravo 1, 2, 3, and 4, and so on for the waypoints of that flight. That way I can keep track of where I use the waypoints on what flight and go back to them if I need to. And it makes it pretty easy to type them in, because I never really go over 10 waypoints on a mission. So once we type in the identifier, we hit enter. Next is the comment section. Here you can type in a comment of what you're going to take a picture of if you're on an aerial photography mission. Maybe there's a ground team over there. Maybe you heard an ELT. Maybe you saw something. You can type in a comment so you can remember for later. For today, we're going to be going to look at a bridge to see if there's any damage to it. Type that in, we hit enter. But next is position. This is where we would type in the location of the bridge we're going to look at. You can either use two crossing radials, radial DME, or latitude and longitude. Normally in Civil Air Patrol we use latitude, longitude in degrees, minutes, decimal minutes format. Once you get here, you can start typing the coordinates of where you plan to go. It'll cycle automatically to the longitude from the latitude. If for whatever reason you need to go back, simply hit the lat with the up arrow. It'll take you back up there. If you need to jump down to longitude, LON with the down arrow takes you down there. As you're typing in longitude, don't forget that the first character needs either to be a 1 or a 0. As you can see, I'm trying to press 3 here, and the computer will not let me. The GPS will not allow me to do that. So be sure to type in that leading 0 if you're going to be typing in a longitude. Hit enter again. We can now use the preview feature here to preview it on the map. I really like to use this before I create it to see if the waypoint is way off somewhere it wasn't supposed to be. If it's perhaps in another country or maybe out over the ocean, somewhere where I didn't want it to be. That tells me I made a mistake when I typed it in before I hit the direct to button and start flying in the wrong direction. It looks like it was in the right place. If this is a temporary waypoint and you would like it to be deleted after you power off the GPS, the temporary button allows you to do that. Simply highlight that, and once you power down the GPS, the waypoint will be deleted. Finally, we hit the create button. And there it is. Our waypoint has been created, and it gives you the bearing and distance from where you are right now to the waypoint. If we hit view list, we can see the list of waypoints as well. Now, if we go back, by either hitting the back arrow or the home button to our main page, we can go into our flight plan, and we can add a waypoint, add alpha, and there 1, enter, and now it's in our waypoint. waypoint is now in our flight plan, and we can fly to it. And we can put all our waypoints in 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 in the GPS. If we use the home key now to go back to the home page and look on our map, we can see our waypoint over there. We hit direct to, we can select a waypoint, alpha 1, activate, and that'll take us directly to that waypoint. Easy as that. Now let's say we're flying around and we see something that we want to mark for later. All you have to do is tap on the screen with your finger, like that, and a crosshair appear wherever you tapped your finger. We simply select Create User Waypoint, and we can go through the same procedure again to create a waypoint. This time, we'll make it Alpha 2. And the identifier, let's say that's where our ground team is that we saw. Call it ground team. Obviously, you can edit the position if you like, but if I tap my finger there, that's generally what I wanted. We hit Create, and there's our waypoint. And now if we go back, hit the Home button, go to our flight plan, add waypoint, Alpha 2, we can now add that to our flight plan. If we want to shift the waypoints around, we hold, and we can activate it from here. Get the waypoint info and activate. Now we go back to our home page, go back to the map. You can see now we've activated our leg over to Alpha 2. That's pretty much it. The only other thing that's kind of useful with this is also if we fly over something and you want to know the aircraft's position as you flew over perhaps an ELT or something, you can just tap right on the aircraft, wherever it is, and create a user waypoint the same way we just did. That way you can come back to that point later if you need to or remember it. These are all different ways you can use the user waypoint function for Civil Air Patrol missions. If you have any questions, put them down in the comments section. I'll do my best to answer them. If you know a better way, or maybe perhaps your unit does something different, I'd be glad to hear about it. Please post it. I'm always looking for new and better ways for doing things. Thanks again for watching.